Hi guys, and welcome to Entry Level 3 English Week 3. I hope you've had a great week. Thank you for all your hard work so far, and it's been great to speak to you. Hope all is well. This week, week 3, we've got quite a lot to concentrate on. There's going to be a spelling test at the beginning. So that's the spellings you learned from last week. Then we're going to look at some new spellings. We're going to be looking at homophones. If you don't know what homophones are, we have done it. If you've done a course with me before, entry level 2, you will have done some homophones, and entry level 1. And also, it would have been in your first week's homework of entry level 3 where I gave you explanation of what everything means. I told you what a homophone was, so you can always have a look if you're not sure. But we're going to look at those. We're going to review the present simple tense that we looked at last week. So positive use of the present simple tense. We're going to review it again. And we're going to review types, purpose of text, especially leaflets and adverts, which we looked at last week. We're going to introduce present simple, negatives and questions. And again, you know, if you've done courses with me before, you will have done this before and you should be quite good at it by now. But you have to keep doing it and keep doing it and keep doing it, because that's how it stays in here and that's how it becomes perfect. You have to do it over and over and over again. I know it's very boring, but that's what happens. And then we're going to be looking at types, purpose of text, and we're going to be focusing on web pages, websites, and how they look and what kind of language we use in those. Okay, and then obviously for your homework you're going to be practicing doing some writing and some reading and some grammar and some more spelling and everything in your homework. Okay, so we're going to start though with our spelling test for this week. So there are 10, I believe. So hopefully you've learnt them all. So you need paper and you need pen. So if you haven't got a piece of paper and you haven't got a pen, go and get some paper and pen. Pause the video and go and get some paper and pen, and then come back in for the spelling test, okay? So hopefully you've learnt these. Okay, so number 1. Competition. I won the competition. Competition. How do you spell competition? I won the competition. Number 2, station. Can you give me a lift to the bus station? Station. How do you spell station? Number 3, explanation. That was a very clear explanation. How do you spell explanation? Number 4, occasion. Occasion. A wedding is a special occasion. Occasion. How do you spell occasion? Number 5, discussion. Let's have a discussion about that. How do you spell discussion? Number 6, examination. The doctor gave me a thorough examination. Examination. How do you spell examination? Number 7, explosion. There was a large explosion at the factory. Explosion. How do you spell explosion? Number 8, action. I love action movies. How do you spell action? Number 9, position. What position did you come in the race? Position. How do you spell position? And number 10, education. A good education is very important. Education. How do you spell education? Okay, so hopefully you've got all of those written down. If you need to listen again, then just rewind and listen again. Okay, so you can rewind as many times as you like. Pause, go back, listen again if you want to hear them again. Otherwise, stay with me. I'm going to write them on the board and we'll go through the answers. Okay, so let's have a look at the correct spellings and see how many did you get out of 10, I wonder. How many did you get correct? So number 1 was competition. C-O-M-P-E-T-I-T-I-O-N. And remember, we're looking at the shun sound, which is spelled T-I-O-N, or it can be spelled S-I-O-N as well. So shun, C-O-M-P-E-T-I-T-I-O-N, competition. Number 2, station. S-T-A-T-I-O-N. Another T-I-O-N on the end. Number 3, explanation. E-X-P-L-A-N-A-T-I-O-N. Explanation. Occasion. This one's got a double C and one S. Sometimes people get that wrong. So O-double-C-A-S-I-O-N. And this one's got an S-I-O-N spelling. So that's shun sound, shun, T-I-O-N or S-I-O-N. Discussion. It's got 3 S's, one at the beginning and a double one at the end. So D-I-S-C-U-S-S-I-O-N, shun. And discuss is obviously D-I-S-C-U-S-S, discuss and discussion. Examination, E-X-A-M-I-N-A-T-I-O-N. Explosion, E-X-P-L-O-S-I-O-N, and that's an S-I-O-N one. Action, A-C-T-I-O-N, action. Act, action. Explode, explosion, explosive. Remember, lots of words have come from these. Exam, examine. Position, P-O-S-I-T-I-O-N, P-O-S-I-T-I-O-N. Education, E-D-U-C-A-T-I-O-N, E-D-U-C-A-T-I-O-N. Shun. Okay, so how many did you get right? Let me know. How many did you get out of 10? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10? Anybody get 10 out of 10? That would be amazing. Let me know how you get on, okay? So now I'm going to put the new ones up on the board. Okay, so this time we're looking at spellings for next week. So you need to know these for next week, for week 4. And these are homophones. Homophones are words that sound the same, but they have different spelling and different meaning. Okay, so they sound the same, but they have different spelling and different meaning. So some of these, if you've done entry level 2 with me, these first 3 you should definitely know by now. I really hope you know these by now, because I know we've done them before. and we've gone over them, so hopefully you know those by now, but they are ones that people get wrong all the time, so I've put them in again. And then we've got some more down here that again people get wrong quite often, so we're going to go through those. So we're going to start off with 2 and 2. So they sound the same, 2 and 2, but they have a different meaning and different spelling. And people never know which one they should use. So we've got 2, T-O-O, and 2, T-O. So T-O-O is when we're talking about something that's too much. It's extra, or it's additional. Okay, so it costs too much. It's extra, it's too much. It's like more. Kind of means more, I suppose. I like chocolate too. So it also means also. Also, it means also. I like chocolate too. I like you too. And that's T-O-O because it means also. So it can be more or additional or extra and too. So there is too much food. There is too much pasta. I drank too much wine. I love swimming too. It means also, as well as you. Okay, so that's that kind of to. And then there's to as in how to get to somewhere. Here, A to B, you know. So this is often to do with direction or travel. I need to go to school. I need to go to work. Okay, so it's often to do with direction and travel. Movement. Okay. Where are you going to? Okay, that kind of thing. So just 2 and 2, they sound exactly the same, but the spelling is different and the meaning is different, and it's really important because it's a big difference. Okay, I like you too, and I with this, and I like you too doesn't make any sense. I like you to comb my hair. I would like you to comb my hair. It doesn't make any sense. So yeah, make sure you understand the difference between those. Then we've got no and no. So no as in no. See how scary I was then? No. No. No, you have to go to bed. No, off of the sofa. That's what I say to my cat. Doesn't listen. So no as in no, N-O, and no, K-N-O-W. Same sound, different spelling, different meaning. Know as in to know something. Knowledge. It comes from the word knowledge. To know something. I know your brother. Do you know my sister? I know how to speak Italian. Okay, so how to know something, knowledge. It comes from knowledge. It's to do with the mind, to know something, okay? So know and know. And then we've got these ones which people always get wrong. There, and there. There, and there. There, over there. This is place, okay? Over there. Where's my bag? It's over there. It's over there. Where's my bag? Over there. It's place. It's to do with where something is. Where do you live? I live there. Okay? So it's to do with place, where something, the position of something, where it is. There, same sound, different spelling, different meaning. There is the pronoun, possessive pronoun for them or they. So, okay, for example, okay, yeah, hang on. This is my pencil case. Okay, this is my pencil case. Mine. It belongs to me. Mine. If I'm talking about them, two people or more people over there, I can say this is their pencil case. It's their pencil case. It belongs to them. So there is about possession for two or more people. I'm trying to find some example. Find an example for you. Okay, so my book, your book, and their book. It belongs to them. My mum and dad, this is their book. My mum and dad's book. My parents' book. Their book. So there, when it's THEIR, is about possession. It's ownership or possession. Okay, about ownership. And there, this kind of means they are. They are students. They are 20. They are happy. They are sad. So it just means they are, this one. Okay. We've got allowed and allowed. So allowed is to speak aloud. Out loud, yeah? Oh, aloud. You can hear it. Aloud. Okay? Sing aloud, speak aloud. It means to use sound, to use your voice. Allowed is you are allowed to, you have permission to. You are allowed to enter the room. You are allowed to, when you are 20, no, when you are 18, you are allowed to drink. You have permission. Permission. You are allowed to drink at 18. You're allowed to smoke at 16, 18? I don't know. I don't know. You're allowed to go to the pub and drink when you are 18. You're allowed to drive at 17. So allowed, permission, and allowed to make sound with your voice. Speak aloud. Then we have meet and meet. Okay, so meet with M-E-A-T, or I should say aloud here, A-L-O-U-D. A-L-O-U-D, that's an O, I don't know whether you can, it's not very clear. And aloud, A-L-L-O-W-E-D. Meat, M-E-A-T, is like beef, pork, chicken. That's the type of meat, okay, so food. And meet, M-E-E-T, is to meet someone. I met my boyfriend on the internet. Okay, to meet. I'm meeting my mum for a coffee tomorrow. Let's meet tonight. To meet someone, to see them, to visit them, to hang out together. Okay? So different spellings. Weather and weather. These people always get these spelt wrong. Weather, as in the weather, it's raining, it's sunny, it's hot, it's cold, it's windy, okay? The weather, sun, cloud, that is a cloud, believe it or not. Hard to tell, isn't it? Rain. And weather is like whether to do something or not. Whether I should go to the party. I don't know whether I should go to the party or not. It's like, should I go or shouldn't I? Should I or shouldn't I? And then we've got plane and plane. Plane and plane. Plane as in an aeroplane. Okay, I can't draw these. An aeroplane. Looks more like a shark. That's an aeroplane, okay? That's an aeroplane, believe it or not. And plain as in plain wall, nothing on it, empty. A plain, white plain wall, it's plain. There's nothing on there, there's no writing, there's no pictures, there's nothing, it's plain. And we can have plain paper, a plain wall, a plain house, there's nothing, it's a bit boring, there's nothing there, it's plain, yeah, there's nothing on there. So that's that kind of plain. Use your dictionary if you're not sure to look up these words, yeah, use your dictionary to look these words up, make sure you understand them, because next week in the spelling test I'm going to give you a sentence and you have to decide which one is the correct spelling. So you'll have to know them. So make sure you learn them really carefully. I want you to write some sentences for me using these words for your homework. So I want sentences with these new spelling words in. So write me 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15 sentences with these words in. Okay? Make sure you write me some sentences with these words and use your dictionary to help you. Okay, you should have a good English dictionary. It's really important, so make sure you've got that. So that's your spelling for next week. Your test for next week is those words, okay? So make sure you learn those. Let me just pause. Okay, so now we're going to have a quick review of the present simple tense in the positive form, and then we're going to look quickly at negatives and questions too. Like I said, you should have a good idea of the present simple tense if you have done courses with me before. If you've done courses with me before, you should have an idea of the present simple tense. You may not have done it, if you haven't done a course with me before, you may not have done the present simple tense for a long time, so this will be more unfamiliar for you. But hopefully you have some idea at entry level 3 how to use it and how to form it. But we are going to keep reviewing it because it's so important to be able to use it properly. So present simple tense we use for facts, things that are always true. London is the capital city of England. England has a prime minister. America has 52 states. Dogs have 4 legs and a tail. Okay, so we use it for facts, for truths, things that are true. We use it for things that are true now in our lives, like not things that we're like doing now, like talking, not for that, for things that are true in our life in general. Like, I live in Wilton. I have 2 children. I work at Alert Training. Okay, so we use it to talk about things that are true now in our life. Okay, and we also use it to talk about routines and habits, things that we do on a regular basis, every day, every week, every summer, every month, every weekend. Okay, so we use it to talk about that as well. So with the present simple, remember we talked about this last week. So this is our infinitive verb, the base form of the verb. Okay, so these are our verbs. Verbs are action words, are doing words. I've got some here: go, play, carry, do, have, watch, and be. Those are our infinitives. We call that the infinitive verb. It's really important you remember this language because you will have to use it, especially as you get better and better and better. Subject: I, you, he, she, it, you, they, we. So you singular, you plural, subject. The present simple tense verb. So with I, it stays the same as the infinitive. I go to sleep at 11. I go to sleep at 11 every day. You go to work every day. Okay, so it stays the same. He, she, it goes. We add that ES, in this case ES, so we can add S, ES, or IES. So he, she, it goes to the gym on Sundays. He goes to the gym on Sundays. And notice how we've got Sundays. We've got an S on the end, not Sunday, Sundays, because it's every Sunday. He goes to the gym on Sundays, all Sundays. So we put that S on the end. That's really important. If I say I go to the gym on Sunday, it has a different meaning. I mean, it's similar, but it's better to put an S on the end because it means every Sunday, on Sundays. You go, they go, we go. So it just changes with he, she, or it. Okay, it just changes with he, she, or it. Hopefully you can, I'm getting a phone call coming through on my phone, and hopefully you can, let me just decline it. I can't get rid of it. Hopefully it's not disturbing the video. I'll just wait for it to stop. Okay, so for he, she, and it, we add ES. So my mum goes to the gym. My sister goes to work on Fridays. My daughter goes to college on Thursdays. Okay, so he, she, or it, we add that ES to go. And in the present simple, when we're talking about positive, so we're saying a positive sentence, then we add something to all of the infinitive verbs for he, she, or it. So for play, it becomes plays. We just add an S, okay? We just add an S. Play becomes plays. The other stays the infinitive. I play, you play, they play, we play. But we just add an S to plays. Carry becomes carries. We add IES and we remove the Y. So this is important spelling rule. If you remember, we touched on it last week. If there's a vowel before the Y, so A, E, I, O, U is vowels. Remember, if there's an A before the Y, we just add an S. So play becomes plays. We just add an S. If there is a consonant, so that's B, C, D, F, G, etc., before the Y, like there is in carry, we remove the Y and we put IES. So if it's a vowel and Y, we just add S, like play or buy. Buy would be the same, that would be buys. We just add an S because there's a vowel before the Y, so we just add S. But if there's a consonant before the Y, we remove the Y and we put IES. Okay? So remember that's for he, she, and it. But this would be I play, you play, I carry, you carry, they carry, we carry. Do becomes does. He does, she does, it does. We add ES. Go and do, we add ES. Okay? So go becomes goes and do becomes does. The pronunciation changes as well, does. Have becomes has. He has, she has, it has. Okay, so this is just with he, she, and it. Okay. Watch becomes watches. And we add ES to watches. After that ch sound, where we've got a CH, we often add ES. Okay? Watches. Catches. Add ES. I don't really know why. It's just something to do with the sound. But if there's a ch sound at the end, CH, then we often add ES. So he watches, she watches, it watches. Okay, so this infinitive here changes in the present simple with he, she, and it. Be, the verb be, that's our infinitive form, changes with everything. Because the verb be is very annoying. So, be. I am. Be becomes am with I. you are. He, she, it is. You are. They are. And we are. So in the present simple, the verb to be becomes am, are, or is. I am, you are, he, she, it is. I am 48. You are 32. He is African. You are angry. They are happy. We are students. Okay? So be in the present simple, am, are, is. I am, you are, he, she, it is. They are and we are. Okay, so that's a positive present simple tense. We looked at that last week. You've got to keep practicing. You have to get that right. It's really important. Right, let me just pause a minute. Okay, so we're going to have a look quickly at negatives and questions in the present simple form now. So, negatives. Here's our infinitive again, our infinitive verbs. These are our verbs. So I've just put a couple down here. Go, play, do. Here's our subject. I, you, he, she, it, you, they, and we. When we use the negative, we add do not into the sentence after our subject. So I go to school on Wednesdays. I do not go to school. So here's our verbs, but we always use the infinitive in negatives, okay? But in front of that, we put do not. Sorry, one moment, please. Right, sorry. So do not. So we've got the subject, then we add do plus not, and then the infinitive verb. I go to school on Wednesdays. I do not go to school on Wednesdays. And do not becomes don't. We shorten it to make it don't. I don't go to school on Wednesdays. You do not go to the gym every weekend. You don't go to the gym every weekend. Okay? So do not becomes don't. We shorten it. He, she, it does not. Okay, so that's, we add the es, but we add it to do. We add it to do. The verb that we're using stays as the infinitive. He does not go to the gym. He doesn't. Okay, we shorten does not to doesn't. Doesn't. Say that for me. Doesn't. Don't. Doesn't. So I don't go. You don't go. He doesn't go. She doesn't go. It doesn't go. You don't go. They don't go. We don't go. So we add do not after the subject and before the infinitive verb. So, exactly the same for play and do and every other verb. I don't play football. You don't play tennis. He doesn't play chess. She doesn't play badminton. You don't play volleyball. They don't play cards. We don't play rugby. Okay, so we use the infinitive form of the verb. This doesn't become plays for he, she, it because we changed this to does not for negatives. It's really confusing. So in the positive, it would be he plays football. But in the negative, he doesn't play. We go back to the infinitive and we add does not. Okay? Now, this is fine for all verbs. So I do not do, you do not do, he does not do, doesn't do, she doesn't do, you don't do, they don't do. So all verbs, this is absolutely fine, except for be. So all verbs follow this, but be, not be. be is different. So with the verb to be, the infinitive verb to be, we use the present simple form of the verb be plus the not. So I am not. You are not. He is not. She is not. It is not. You are not. They are not. And we are not. Okay? So it's with the verb to be in the negative, we use the present simple form of be plus not. And they can be shortened as well. So it becomes I'm not. You aren't. He isn't. She isn't. It isn't. You aren't. They aren't. And we aren't. Okay, so are not becomes aren't, is not becomes isn't, but I am not becomes I'm not I amped. We don't say that, so I'm not. So we shorten these as well. So be is the only one that's different with this is, are and am. All the other verbs, catch, carry, buy, play, go, we add do and not after the subject, or does and not for he, she and it. Okay? So that's negatives. Very quickly we're going to look at questions. Okay, so with questions it's nice and easy. We've got that do again, or the does. So we use do or does at the beginning, okay, to make the question. Then our subject, then the infinitive. You must remember we're using the infinitive for questions and negatives. And then the rest of the sentence. So do I have any pens? Yes, I do. Do you play the piano? Does she go to the cinema? Does he? So we use that does for he, she, it again. Do they like popcorn? Do we want a takeaway? Okay, so do and does at the beginning, then your subject, then the infinitive form of the verb. And again, does for he, she and it. Does your brother play football? Because he, your brother. Does your brother play football? Do your parents, because that's they, do your parents like curry? Okay? So, questions. And if we're using question words like what or where, that goes in front of here. What do you do at the weekend? What do you cook for tea? What do you eat for breakfast? Okay, so if we use what, where, who, that goes in front of the do. What do, where do you live? But this stays the same. We have the subject, then the infinitive. Do, subject, infinitive. That stays the same. We just put the what, the where, the who. Who do you love? Where do you live? What do you do? Okay? So that's with every verb except be. Okay, one moment. I'll just put it on the board. Okay, so with be, so with all other verbs, as I say, we use the do, then the subject, then the infinitive form of the verb. With be, we use the present simple tense form of be, plus the subject, and then the object. So, am I late? Probably, usually. Are you happy? Is she a nurse? Is he a nurse? Are they hungry? Are we early? Okay, so we use the present simple tense form of the verb be, plus the subject, and then the rest of the sentence. So with be, it's different. With everything else, we have to use do plus the subject plus the infinitive. But with be, it's different. Okay, so that's a quick run through the present simple tense for positives, negatives and questions. There'll be some homework for you to practice that, but really it's more about using it, speaking, and we'll be doing that in our video calls. I'll be asking you to make sentences for me, etc. Okay, so we're just going to look at the last bit now. I'm just going to pause. Okay, if you remember, we spoke last week about some of the types of text and their purposes, and then we looked at the format, the way that we lay out adverts and leaflets and things. So if you remember, type of text is the different styles of communication in writing. So we talked about advert, email, leaflet. We could have a web page or a website, a letter, we could have a text message, we could have an application form. Okay, so these are all types of text, aren't they? Okay, so that's our types of text. Okay, so these are our purpose of text. Remember we talked about the purpose of text. The purpose is why we're writing it, and there's lots and lots of purposes. There's lots of reasons for writing something. It could be that we just need to give some information. The writing might just be giving us some information, like if you get a letter from the doctors, it will give us information like where, what day our appointment is, what time our appointment is, where we have to go, who we have to see, if we have to wear anything in particular or take anything. Okay, so it could be just giving us information. Could be giving us instructions as well. Like, again, if we had a letter from the doctor, there'll be instructions on there like where we need to park, where we need to go to get to our appointment, who we need to call before to confirm the appointment. So there might be some instructions telling us what to do. You know, call this number to change your appointment. There might be some instructions. It might just give us advice or tips, some advice telling us, you know, like things we should do, we shouldn't do, what we ought to do or must do, or etc. It might be trying to persuade us to do something, make us do something, make us buy something, make us go somewhere. So often a lot of leaflets and adverts are trying to make us buy a product. So buy this new kettle or buy this new sofa, or they might be trying to make us or convince us to go to a new hotel or to a new restaurant or to a zoo. Okay, it could be trying to make us go somewhere. So you did some adverts for me about your hometown to persuade me to go there. So you told me lots of nice things about it to make me want to go there. It could be to describe something. So if you're describing your hometown, you're going to tell me lots of information about it. Use lots of adjectives. It's beautiful, it's pretty, it's has many different spas, etc. So you're going to be telling me lots of information. You're going to be describing so that I can picture it in my head like an image. It might be to entertain us, to make us laugh. So, you know, it could just be an article in a magazine or in a newspaper that's just funny. It's like a story that's funny. It could be to argue an opinion. So it could be, you know, at the moment in the newspaper, there's lots of things that are writing that are arguing, you know, like whether they agree with wearing masks, whether they don't agree with wearing masks, whether they agree with the vaccine, don't agree with the vaccine. Lots of things that argue, you know, no, you shouldn't have the vaccine, it's dangerous. Yes, you should have the vaccine, it saves people's lives. So lots of things that argue. So these are the purposes of texts. And last week we looked at adverts and leaflets, and we said that adverts and leaflets, their main purpose is to persuade us to do something, like to make us go somewhere or make us want to visit somewhere. That's their main purpose, or to buy something. But they will also give us some information, usually an advert and a leaflet, and they might even give us some instructions, and they will probably be descriptive as well. So they do lots of things, but their main purpose is to make us do something. So those were our purposes, okay? Okay, so we also looked at features and layout of text. This is the way it looks and how we present it so that it's attractive for our eyes so that we like the way it looks, and so it makes it easy to read as well. And we looked at adverts and leaflets last time, and we said that, you know, they have lots of colour, they use bullet points, they use subheadings, they use headings, they use pictures, block capitals, underlining. We looked at all of those different features of text. Now, today we're looking at websites and web pages in particular. Web pages will still usually have a heading, okay, at the top. This one happens to be inside a text box, but yeah, usually have a heading to make it stand out. Web pages also have tabs. These are called tabs. Okay, tabs, that's what we click on to get to the other page. So if I want to find out about the staff at EL3 Training, I click on that one and it takes me to the other page. These are called tabs. Web pages also have what we call hyperlinks or links. Or just links is okay. And these are underlined words on the page that take us to another website or another page. So if it's underlined, we can click on it and it takes us somewhere else. So at EL3 Training UK, we offer courses in first aid. So if I click on that link, because it's underlined, usually in blue, to be honest, if we click on that link, it will take you to the first aid page or another thing about first aid. They have subheadings. It might be in bold writing, so dark and thick, bold writing. It might have images on the web page as well. Quite often there's images. So there's all these things. They're very similar to leaflets and adverts. There's lots of colour. There's lots of, they might have bullet points, subheading. There's lots of things that are similar because we want to make them bright and cheerful and easy to read. But what you really do need to remember is that we do have tabs and we do have links. And obviously you've got what